touched on our gambling strategy in our budgeting video, but we wanted to go into a little more detail and maybe give you some of the reasoning behind how we gamble. I think summing it up in a nutshell, we could say that we are not jackpot chasers. We have watched many YouTube videos of other people putting hundreds and thousands of dollars into one machine, trying to get, rack up the money with the bonuses, maybe hit a progressive jackpot. But typically we will only put about $20 into a machine. We'll try to either double up, if we're doing pretty well and the machines seem a little looser, then we'll try to double up and then we'll pull out. If we're not doing very well, we might pull out at 5. I mean, it's been even less, if we're really doing terribly, we'll pull out at $1.25 at the very least, which, is a lot of cashing out, but we'll put the overage in our winnings and we'll put the $20 back in. If that machine isn't feeling lucky for us, we will move to another machine and just put our 20 in somewhere else. But that's typically how we play, just to make sure that we're bringing home money, we're not losing it all, and we're extending our playtime dramatically, I think. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to for us, is how long can we play on the money that we've brought.
Yeah, we certainly aren't high rollers, but we also don't have a really small budget. We used to have a really small budget, but now it's really more about extending our entertainment time. So if we aren't having fun at a casino, if we are on a losing streak, which absolutely is not fun, we'll cash out and go to a different machine, or even better, to a different casino. You can always do that in Vegas. They are just a few steps away, or an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi or a bus away to go take your money somewhere else, get some different sights and sounds, and try your luck somewhere else.
The other great thing about Vegas is you don't even have to go to another casino. I mean, if you're just done gambling for a while, we take lots of breaks, right? Especially if we get... Now, we're not going to leave a machine when we're winning, but if we are on a losing streak, you can absolutely spend the next couple hours just going to free attractions, walking up and down the strip and seeing the sights, going through the malls and the shopping centers. There's so much to do there that you do not have to spend your time gambling. If that's not your thing, that's totally fine. There is something for everyone there.
Yes, and don't feel like you are limited to one casino or one area like the Las Vegas Strip, or limited to Fremont Street. There are plenty of places off the Strip where you can go and try your luck too, like Ellis Island, which is just a couple of blocks off the Strip, which would be considered a local casino. There's also places like Red Rock. Another thing to remember is that it's never just you against a machine or you against a casino. It's you against Vegas. So do not judge a casino by its size or its age, because you may have really good luck there. A couple of trips ago, actually this past trip, we went back to Casino Royale, which has been on the Strip forever. It isn't the nicest place in the world. It isn't the newest place in the world. But we were kind of in the middle of a losing streak and walked in there and did pretty well. So remember, your money spends just as well at a little casino as it does at a really big one.
I think on our last trip to New Jersey, when we visited my parents, my dad and my stepmother, they're pretty big gamblers, and we asked them kind of about their experience. Flat out, just over time, and they've been gambling for 20, who knows how many years, lots and lots of years. They're just about an hour from Atlantic City, so they go down very frequently. And they told us that over time, definitely they have lost, which, might be a little disappointing to hear for a lot of us. But I think it just drives home the point of our strategy, and it makes us feel better about it, because going in knowing that chances are you're going to be down, you're not going to win. I think that when you do win, if we win, it's just icing on the cake, right? I mean, we're there for the experience. We're there to have a good time, to enjoy the game that we're actually playing, to make it last as long as possible. And if we win, great. If we don't, we still, I feel like, got what we wanted out of it and what we expect out of it, right? Going in, if you think you're going to win and you don't, you're always going to be disappointed. So I think it's a good strategy for us because it keeps us happy when things aren't going our way, you know. Like you said, it's never fun to lose, but there are other things to consider, right, than just the money coming out of the machine. I like to look at it like an adult arcade, right? So you remember going to the arcades when you were a kid and you had your big bucket of tokens and you maybe played a machine that doesn't give you anything, but maybe you're playing against your friends and you're trying to get the high score so that you can put in your initials or your nickname or something funny that your friends are going to laugh at. Or you play other games that maybe, you know, give you those tickets and you have to win like 10,000 or 100,000 to get a pathetic little stuffed animal. And your parents will tell you, I could have just bought that for $10. But that's not the point, guys, right? Isn't that what we always told our parents? That's not the point. It's the fun and the joy of playing to get those tickets, to get that prize, right? So that's what Vegas and gambling is for us. It's the journey. It's the experience that we have when we're there and all of the sights and all of the sounds and all of the other things that we can do and just watching Chris get happy when he finally hits a 4 of a kind or, you know, we hit oh my goodness, if we ever hit a royal flush. It's not a whole lot of money, right? It's not life-changing money, but just the chance to get that, I think, is what keeps us going, right?
And if you are gambling and you are not having fun, remember you are always the one in control of your money. They put that little cash out button on those machines for a reason. So use that button if you're not having fun. If you aren't, take your cash, go walk around for a little bit, explore the Venetian, explore the Caesars Forum shops. Go back to your hotel room if you have a room like we're going to have on our upcoming trip, which is the Fountain View balcony at the Cosmopolitan. Go back there, jump in the Japanese soaking tub for a little bit, put on that robe, those slippers, go out there and sit on the balcony for an hour or so. You are always in control of what you're gambling, when you stop, and when you keep going.
In Vegas, I think we are trying to minimize our risk, right? We're trying to minimize the amount of money we lose while still being able to play, maximize the experience, maximize the fun. We're just not in it to win huge amounts of money. We're in it for the experience.
Yeah, I think the main strategy is to make sure you're having fun and never play with your winnings. And I think that's really the biggest thing for us. As long as we do those two things, we're kind of always having fun when we're gambling. So hopefully you can do the same.
Whether you're just starting out with gambling or you've been doing it for a long time, I like to read sometimes articles online about strategy and about, you know, the odds and which machines are hitting and which aren't, what your likelihood of winning is ultimately. And I don't know what the better option is. You know, is our strategy better than someone who puts thousands of dollars in one machine? I don't know. You know, I have read that it is totally random. Your chances of winning on every spin is exactly the same. So, you know, if you hit a jackpot on a machine, I think most people would be like, oh, I'm going to get up and leave, right? Because it hit. But technically, according to what I read, the very next spin has exactly the same amount of probability of hitting as the previous one. And when you get up, I'm sure everyone has experienced this at some point. You know, you've played on a machine for a while, you didn't win anything, you got up, someone sat down and they hit. And what I've heard is that was not necessarily your spin. It may not have hit had you stayed there. I'm not really sure how that works. It doesn't necessarily make sense in my head, but I'm sure they know what they're talking about.
Well, slot machines are all based on what's called the random number generator. So all these numbers that are generated or all the spins you see are random, meaning that there is no pattern to it. Now, I will say that when it seems like a machine is starting to hit, it kind of has a tendency to keep on hitting. I think there is that pattern there, but other than that, it's really random. Now, with that being said, there are looser slots, there are looser casinos than there are in others. So, in general, if you're talking about the Las Vegas Strip on Las Vegas Boulevard, those casinos aren't going to pay out as much or as often as the casinos in the outlying areas or even the casinos on Fremont Street. So there is that to take into account. Now those numbers have to be posted publicly so that the consumer can see what the payouts are at each casino. So if you are more interested in trying to make money from gambling, you would want to go to a place like Fremont rather than spend all your money on the Strip, or go to outlying areas, some of the local casinos, and drop your 20s in there or however much you want to drop and play there, because your odds or the frequency of the payouts is going to be higher than it would be in the tourist centric areas like on the Strip itself.
One other thing to note though, yes, maybe your machine seems like it has not patterns, but cycles, right? Cycles, like if it starts to win, it'll continue winning for a little while maybe. But you don't want to get trapped thinking that because you've spent so much time at a machine that it's eventually going to hit. Like you're afraid to walk away because you just know, as badly as this machine has treated you over the past hour, that you're just seconds away from a jackpot, because that's very unlikely to happen. Another thing that I've seen, how machines are kind of rigged to draw you in with, the possibility of a bonus with, what is that, Aztec spirit, right? Aztec spirit with the sun gods. You continuously get two and you're just waiting for the third one to drop and it never hits, and you just think, because I've had so many opportunities, it's going to hit, I have to keep playing. Like, don't get sucked in to playing continuously because you just feel like the next spin's going to do it, because that's just a way to get into some serious trouble, as we've seen.
And once you do walk away, don't look back. You don't want to see what happens at a machine once you walk away from it.
Yeah.
It's the same as like finally buying that, big ticket item on Amazon or in a store or something that you had your eye on for a while, and then you buy it and you look at the price next day and it's much less than what it was the day before. Once you get up from a slot machine or from a video poker machine, just walk away and don't look back. It's going to be better for your mental health.
It's definitely for mine. What do you think the machine or the game that you can stay at for the longest period of time on a single 20?
I mean, for me, that's video poker, without a doubt. Slots we've had the occasional slot machine where we could sit there for maybe 10 minutes because we, number one, hit free games and then kept getting bonuses within those free games. But overall, if you look at it long term, we're going to spend much more, or be able to spend much more time at a video poker machine on a single $20 bill, just because it goes a lot slower. There's an actual strategy to play, even though the way the cards are dealt, that's random. But you do have some control over what you're picking, which cards you decide to play or hold on to or keep or get rid of. So if you're looking to really stretch your dollar, video poker is really the way to go.
And they have all kinds of denominations. I mean, we typically play 25-cent video poker, but remember at New York, was it New York? No, it was Paris. Paris, 5 cent? Mm-hmm. 5 cent video poker at Paris. Oh my gosh, we played forever. Well, he played forever. I had one spin because I was on the wrong denomination. I think it took $5 from me on that one spin. And I won, so I cashed out. And then he was playing for probably an hour, I would say, on that $20 at 5 cents. which I think would be 25 cents a spin, right? I'd really be interested to know what you think about our strategy and whether you believe that playing at one machine with lots of money for a very long time gives you a better shot of winning, or if you're like us and you think probably the probability is always the same. So whether you're, pumping $20 at a time into the machine or putting $100 in at once, it's all going to turn out to be the same over time, only that you might lose a lot less playing our way. Leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked our video. Don't forget to hit the notification, the little bell, so that you're notified every time we post a video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and join us for the next episode of The Midlife Ride.